Hello, good evening, and welcome back to the Celtic Way. I'm Tony Haggerty at ahaggerty10 on the X and Twitter handle, and I'm joined by Ryan McGinley, who's standing outside Celtic Park. After Celtic 2, Hibs 0, Celtic march on to the Scottish Cup semi-final after defeating Hibs and handing them their first defeat in 16 matches. Ryan, how are you?
Things are good. Yeah, Celtic have booked a place at Hampden. They're going back to Hampden. It's becoming quite the occurrence for Celtic in these seasons. You know, you're used to it by now. Yeah, delighted with the way that they performed because it was a bit of a grueling game. It was a grueling game to watch and a grueling game to obviously be a part of. But it was a lot of tired bodies in the last 20, 25 minutes or so of the game. Both teams put everything into it. They left it all on the field. But Celtic were just better than their opponents today, and that showed in the score sheet. I thought they were well worthy of their 2-goal win. And yeah, through to the next round. This is what we were hoping for before the match, and they've delivered and then some. So delighted with that.
Hold all your main thoughts because we'll just do a quick word from our sponsor first and foremost. As you can see, the Celtic Way is brought to you by S1 Jobs. And if it's time to hand in your transfer request, then head over to s1jobs.com and upload your CV today. With thousands of jobs across Glasgow and the surrounding areas, you'll find the one at S1 Jobs. So start your search today, and we thank S1 Jobs for their sponsorship of the Celtic Way podcast. Ryan, I don't know about you, but I actually quite enjoyed that game today. I thought it was quite an intriguing cup tie, and I never felt that Celtic were in any danger. Dyson Maida, 27th goal of the season, running out of superlatives to describe Dyson Maida, to be perfectly honest. He's just magic, and he plays that centre-forward role very well. And then Adam Maida coming on, and I'm delighted for him that he scored, Ryan. I think it will work wonders for his confidence levels, and also delighted that the three people that were involved in Adam Maida's goal were the substitutes who had a cracking impact when they came on, that strength and depth, all of that kind of stuff. So Celtic 2, Hibs 0. Celtic booking, Ryan, their 82nd Scottish Cup semi-final appearance. There you go.
Not bad at all. I completely agree with you. It was a really enjoyable game to be a part of and to watch, being in the stadium, feeling that atmosphere. You could feel it before the game because, you know, the Hibs fans had came in their numbers, and credit to them. It was a really quite incredible scene of more green and white in the stadium as well. But they brought their noise. They brought, you know, that they're clearly riding the crest of a wave at the moment under David Gray. They're doing really well. And I thought they acquitted themselves quite well in the game. Maybe they could have had more going forward. They had that chance in the first half that was over the top from a quick free kick that Kasper Schmeichel did well to save. But apart from that, can't really think of any other big opportunities they had in front of goal. Kasper Schmeichel was effectively a passenger, a spectator, apart from that one chance.
Kieran Bowie's shot, Ryan, after Celtic's blistering start, and they took the throw in from not where it should have been taken. They just grabbed the first ball, the kind of quick ball that was sitting there, and I think that's what Kasper Schmeichel was saying, but kept his concentration levels and pulled off a terrific save because Celtic had made it a really good start. Ryan, that's Brendan Rodgers' 20th Scottish Cup tie over two spells as Celtic manager. He's won 20 out of 20.
Yeah, it is a competition that Brendan Rodgers knows well. All he knows how to do in this competition is to win games 20 out of 20. Hopefully, he can make it to 22 out of 22 this season and another Scottish Cup to go with that growing medal collection and trophy cabinet when he is at the helm of Celtic. I just thought it was a controlled performance. Yes, there was some nervy, intense moments, but that was because Celtic were playing against a team that were banging form, and they have been recently. I just feel as if it would have been a completely different story in terms of game if it was maybe like a midweek game or something, if it was Wednesday after Hibs had won that Edinburgh derby, you know, going into it. I think the fact that there was a week of preparation, a week of chat, a week of talk, you know, maybe Hibs didn't deliver to the same level that we maybe would have expected them to. Maybe, I don't know if it was a deer in the headlights sort of thing, but you know, they did okay, but I thought Celtic were always in full control of the contest, and when they had to score, they went and done so. It was a good shot from Nicholas Kuhn, probably should have scored it, parried by the goalkeeper, and Dyson Maida did so well to run in the rebound. Do you know, he scores messy goals, but messy goals can be beautiful as well because he's running in, he's tracking the flight of the ball, and you get what you deserve when you track the ball like that. He can sniff out danger just like that, and that's goal number 27. Is that number 27 of the season?
27 of the season, Ryan. Yep.
27.
Do you know what it is, Ryan?
Incredible.
It is incredible, but yeah, it's a tap-in, but it's the anticipation. It's the lightning quick reaction. There's a goalkeeper and a defender who could react to that, but 6-yard box it's Dyson Meader's domain. Dyson's domain, I'm going to call it now, because he just comes alive in the 6-yard box, and he's making everybody know, this is my domain. You spill the ball, I'm on it in a flash. You want to take an extra touch, I'm on you in a flash. Goalkeepers, defenders, I'll chase you down. And he does it from minute 1 to 90, Ryan. He could probably have a hat-trick today, if it should be told. The one he slid in, don't know how he sliced that wide.
He's got to score that.
Yeah, correct. He's got to score that. And then there was one near the end where he tried to take it around the goalkeeper as well. I think he should score that too. But certainly, see that lightning quick reaction, that anticipation in that area, that 6-yard box. There is nobody better. As I say, I'm going to christen it Dyson's domain from now on. Because it is.
Yeah, do you know, he completely rivals Kyogo with his movement. And I think because he's that little bit quicker and more dynamic than Kyogo, he's actually a perfect fit in playing through the middle for Celtic now. They've got a good option off the bench. And Adamida, he showed that today with a really classy finish at the end of the game. Talk about taking your opportunity when it comes. He only had, a total of 10 minutes on the pitch. He had the 5 minutes of regulation time and then an extra 5 minutes additional time. But he still made an impact. All the subs made an impact today. But I just think with Dyson Maeda, he is the strongest option at the moment through the middle. And, you know, with the game against Rangers coming up very, very quickly on Sunday, next Sunday, I think he's got that yellow jersey or the green and white jersey, whatever you want to call it. He will be playing through the middle. He's chaos. It's chaos ball when it's Dyson Maeda through the middle. He plays a sort of free role as well. He's allowed to go where he wants as long as he's leading the line. He can help with Jota on the left and Kuhn on the right, or he can just play through the middle. But he goes and floats about the place and just causes mayhem wherever he goes. So difficult to defend against. There's actually something that I want to bring up. 30 seconds before he'd scored his goal, Rocky Bashiri sort of nonchalantly lifted him up when he fell on the ground.
Yeah.
And 30 seconds later, after he scored that goal, he did a bit of a knee slide in front of the Hibs fans. I think he'd been hearing what the Hibs fans were saying, and he was like, right, I'm going to silence them in the best possible way. And that was by way of scoring the golden goal right in front of them. And a lovely knee slide. Everybody's singing the Maeda Tequila song at the moment. Even at full time, you could see Jota singing it with him, alongside him. I think Maeda looked a little bit embarrassed at full time. But do you know what? He's going to have to get used to that. If he keeps on delivering the goods, then he is going to be the main man at Celtic. And he's going to have to get used to the song.
Of course, very much. Do you know what? I actually thought it was a very good performance today from Celtic. I thought it was measured and it was controlled, and they never looked in any danger. I think the one thing you can give Hibs credit for is for hanging on in there, but nothing much else, Ryan, because they never really created, and I never felt that they were going to score at all in that game. Joseph Stanton disagrees with us, Ryan. He says we're both sadists. His nails were jangling until the second goal. That's fair enough. 275 people joining us in the chat. Get your comments in, guys. Now, if you subscribe to the channel and it's completely free, your comments will appear in the chat. So do that, and then you've got a good chance at myself or Ryan or whoever will read them out as we're going through. So that's what to do, guys. Subscribe to the channel. It's completely free, and your comments will be shown in the chat. But yeah, lots of people joining us, Ryan. Everybody delighted. Celtic in the Scottish Cup semi-final. Their 6th treble in 9 years. That dream is still on. I tell you who else caught my eye today again, Ryan, and he's catching my eye every other week. Jeffrey Schlupp. He looks a player. I just think I'm hoping that he fancies it, Ryan, because I think he could be more than a suitable backup for Tierney, and they might even shoehorn him into the team at some point because he just looks very, very good. It's his ball in that leads to the goal. You know, Kuhn has a shot from Jeffrey Schlupp's ball in. Don't know what you thought about that, but he's getting better and better. I think Celtic fans are being won over, aren't they?
He passes the eye test, Tony, every single time he plays. You know, he broke his duck last week against St Mirren. He should have got his first home goal today. There was a great chance that he whistled just past the post. He's got real strength and fizz and every one of his shots that he takes. I just enjoy what he brings to the team. He seems to understand his role as not just a fullback, but also coming into the midfield, because he has played there. He's played in midfield before for Leicester and Crystal Palace. Having someone that's versatile, a so-called utility player, he can be good in more than one position, and Jeffrey Schlupp has shown that. He is experienced. He's just like having an English Premier League player at left back. No disrespect to Greg Taylor, and congratulations, because he welcomed his first child into the world over this past week or so. But Jeffrey Schlupp it's his jersey at the moment, and I think he'll be starting against Rangers. I like what he brings to the team. He brings a physicality, upper body strength. Doesn't get bullied off the ball. It was a great moment, in particular in the first half, where he just read the run of the Hibs player and got it, and just got forward. I like what he brings. As I said at the start, and I'll say it again, he passes the eye test every time he plays, and I hope that he is here for the long haul, because I can only see him going forward in this Celtic team.
He brings big game knowledge and wisdom, Ryan, with all of that experience that he's packed in his time in Leicester and Crystal Palace. But it's game knowledge, spatial awareness, and just looking solid in that role. That's what I like about him. And he was unlucky. He probably should have scored, but fancied himself. But that's what I like about him as well. Darted forward and thought, you know what, I fancy this, and wasn't shy, and just having a pot in inches away. So I'm liking that. 330 odd people joining us, guys. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday. It's always enjoyable when Celtic win. Started a few comments, Ryan. So Alan Robertson just talking about what we were saying. Big shout out for Schlupp, indeed. And then he came back in. Great finish by Big Ida. It was, and I was really pleased for Ida, because lots of people were starting to have a wee downer on him. But pleased for Ida today, says Hazel Finn. Good goal, regular contributor. Hazel, thank you for that. It was a good goal. Took it really well. Brilliantly set up by Yang and McCowan. There's the sirens coming to take young Ryan away there, probably. McCowan, great impact from the bench again, most certainly was. And Natalie McMullen saying it was a good result. And Sean the Mac saying Schlupp is more solid. What we said the other day. Oh, it's good. Right past you, Ryan. You couldn't make that up, could you? Live TV, ladies and gentlemen, can't beat it. But yeah, anything else catch your eye today, Ryan? You, from your vantage point, obviously I'm watching it on a screen, but you're there.
I'm going to stick up for a player. I'm going to, because he was getting quite a bit of stick, even from where I was sitting. A lot of people criticising him for not playing balls early into space. But I think this is a guy that's just maturing as a football player at Celtic and understanding his role. This is exactly, I'm talking about Rio Hatate, by the way. Now, everybody knows, or everybody that watches the show knows, he's one of my favourite players to watch in this Celtic team. I just think we're seeing the growth of a player, and a real maturity is coming into his game recently. Not just, well, I think both mentally and physically as well, because he is lasting 90 minutes. There's a reason why Rio Hatate is lasting full 90 minutes, and that's because he's clearly doing work off the pitch, conserving his energy, and then coming on and picking and choosing when to make runs and when not. But also, I just think mentally, he understands that the game was on a knife edge. And if he gives the ball away, then it could cause problems, and you could give the ball away. If it's a loose pass and it goes to Hibs, Hibs can then counter-attack, and they're going to go hell for leather because it's a knockout tie. I just think, the fans were maybe getting on his back just ever so slightly. Yes, there was a ball that could have went through to Dyson Maeda, but I think that this is what Brendan Rodgers wants from Hatate. He wants him to be more controlled on the ball. Yes, pull the trigger when required and when necessary, but if you can hold on to it and really calm the game down. I just think in that last 20 minutes, he really did calm it down, because he was having a so-so game up to that point, but I think he really did kick on in the final 20 minutes and calmed everything down. Between that, Luke McCowan coming onto the park and contributing the assist and overall good play, and Arne Engels playing in that number 6 role. There was a ball that he put out wide that Yang was somehow offside. I wasn't sure as to how they got to that decision that he was offside when he was so far back. But Arne Engels, he looks as if that could be his position going forward as well. So there's definitely a lot of food for thought in that midfield area, but there's plenty of dynamism all over it, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that grows in the coming years.
I agree with this from AR. Rio amazes and frustrates in equal measures. I think that summed his performance up today, because he put a ball through for Kuhn, and Kuhn was it was taken off him by Iredale, I think, and Kuhn looked favourite to run through and score. But it's a Hatate-esque pass. Few people see it, right? Hatate's got that vision, and that's a Hatate that you love. And then Hatate can't play a 6 feet square ball to somebody, or he gives it away, and you just tear your hair out. But as you say, he's staying on the park because he can produce those moments, right? That was a defence splitter. Kuhn should actually run through and score, to be honest, but I don't know if he was aware of Iredale. So, credit to the defender because he took the ball cleanly and he could have wiped Kuhn out in a penalty and a sending off. But he did get in front of him, so I'll give him credit for that. But that was Hatate's pass. And again, that vision that we know he's got. And I agree with that comment. He amazes and frustrates in equal measure. I think that's a fair shout.
You've actually mentioned another player that I want to specifically bring up because he's not been at his best in recent games. I know he scored in Munich at the Allianz Arena, but maybe the numbers were there, but I don't think the performances were all there from Nicholas Kuhn recently. Yang's had a bit of the spotlight at the moment, and deservedly so, because he's made impacts off the bench and starting games as well. But Nicholas Kuhn looked back to his best today. In the opening 10 minutes that he was bang up for this against Hibs. He wanted to run at him. I think Cadden was really struggling to deal with him in the opening 10 minutes. And Cadden's been Hibs' best player for the past sort of 1-2 months. He's been absolutely brilliant for Hibs, and he was really, really struggling against Nicholas Kuhn. It was his shot that obviously led to the Maeda goal. But I just think his overall play and the most underrated side of his game is his defensive work and tracking back. He puts in the hard yards to defend when required and when necessary, and he did that this afternoon. There was a great moment in the second half where he actually tracked back 30, 40 yards in order to win the ball back. That's how you endear yourself to the Celtic support. That's how the Celtic fans, they already love Nicholas Kuhn, but they'll love him even more, knowing that he's putting in those hard yards for Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah.
You just know that Brendan Rodgers will be enjoying that from his winger as well. So delighted with his performance today. Didn't get a goal or an assist, but it was a really good performance, and it really sets him up for a big game next week against Rangers, and you wouldn't bet against them to come alive in that fixture.
I think that moment that you talked about there, that will have pleased Brendan Rodgers more. Even if he did score or an assist, it's that willingness to help the team, because Brendan Rodgers talks about that team ethic. Dies and Maeda's got it, and bucketful, plentiful. You know what I mean? That's the kind of thing he does. So other people learning from him, and I think that just, I thought it was without anybody being outstanding, I just thought it was a really good team performance today. They all had their kind of moments in it, but I thought it was calm, it was measured, and they did enough against a team who were resolute. I mean, their goalkeepers had about 3 or 4 decent saves, to be fair, Ryan. Jordan Smith's he's arguably the best player on the park today in terms of his output, because he saved Hibs from getting a bit of a stump.
The save from Hatate in particular was a really good save from quite far out.
Yeah.
No, in fact, it was Callum McGregor's shot. There was a shot from just outside the box, and it was Callum McGregor that he scored 2 or 3 times already this season.
Yeah,
the goalkeeper matched it.
Yeah, Callum McGregor was the one he get the right strong hand to.
Yes.
And Hatate was the one he pushed over the bar. Hatate's was a bit central. See if it would have been in the corner, I don't think he would have got it, but he still managed to save it. So, I thought he did well today, to be fair to him. But no, I was really pleased with Celtic. I thought their attitude from the get-go was spot on. You mentioned Kuhn. I thought he was up for it from the get-go as well. And I wanted to see him. Well, you could arguably say he got an assist, can't you? Because the shot kind of led to the goal. But you know what? A more clinical Nicholas Kuhn would have scored that one that Hatate set him through.
There was a moment in the second half, Tony, where, and it's my one gripe with Nicholas Kuhn, is that he takes too long on the ball to actually release the ball. Too many touches. Now, I remember the only other player that I can compare him to, and maybe a player that he should strive to be on the wing, is Patrick Roberts, with the way that he took shots from quite early on. He didn't need to take 2-3 touches before taking the shot. He would take 1-2 and then take the shot. Instead, Nicholas Kuhn is taking 4-5, and he's getting more central and more central. and it sometimes feels as if the shot is off. You can't get the shot away. So that's something that he needs. That's something that needs to get worked on for sure.
Can hear some background noise, Ryan. Yeah, if you want to put it on silent, you can give me a thumbs up when you're good to go. But touched on him as well. Delighted for Adamida. Great goal. He's got some Scottish Cup history there, Ryan. Scored the winning goal in the Scottish Cup last year. That's 14 goals for the season for Ida. So his numbers are okay.
Yeah, numbers are absolutely fine in this Celtic team. But the thing is, there's so many players contributing at the moment, whether it's the strikers, the wingers, the midfielders scoring goals, Arne Engels from the penalty spot, the defenders scoring from set pieces. Admittedly, Celtic set pieces today were not that great from Arne Engels. You're just, there was a couple in the first half that were quite good and quite on the money. There wasn't anybody to attack the ball. If you're maybe looking for an Adamida or something to put the header in. But Carter Vickers and Trusty couldn't get on the end of them. And then there was a couple that were quite under-hit from Arne Engels, so a bit of a mixed bag. But there's goals coming from everywhere, from the defence, the middle and the attack. I'm not concerned about, goal scoring tallies. Look at Daisy Maeda's numbers. I mean, he is the individual that's scoring goals at the moment. But, you'll have Jota scoring, you'll have Kieran scoring. Ida's chipping in with goals as well. Luke McCowan as well. So, yeah, no complaints at all.
Yeah, I have no complaints either. As I say, I thought it was a very measured performance from Celtic against a team whose MO was to stay in it for as long as they could, Ryan. And at 1-0, they were still in it. Everybody's saying they were nervous that Celtic needed a second goal to kill it. It came late. They got it. Adamida got it. As I say, delighted for him making that impact from the bench. And he was delighted to do so, wasn't he? His celebration said it all, didn't it?
Yeah, he did his signature knee slide, which was absolutely brilliant. I love that Yang was getting involved as well, because his contribution to that goal was important too, because he was the one that got the ball, or he got the ball back to Luke McCowan. It was almost as if it was the same thing happening again when a Celtic player was getting to the byline. I was like, was it in? Was it in? It was definitely in. There wasn't even a check. It was a great ball back, a great cut back from Luke McCowan. Tony, you and I, we both sing from the same hymn sheet when it comes to Luke McCowan. We enjoy what he brings to the team. I thought he just injected a bit of pace and quality into the middle of the park that was needed. Now, Brendan Rodgers didn't make a sub until about 70 minutes into the game.
75.
He waited, and it was actually Callum McGregor that was taken off the pitch. Now, I don't know if there was there maybe some injury doubts before the game about Callum McGregor.
He got taken off against Simon, didn't he? So I think he was nursing that. Did he say it was an Achilles?
To be fair, I think it's important anyway that Celtic manage his game time effectively, because they do have players on the bench that can come on and make a difference. And it's a shame that Paulo Bernardo cannot be one of those players at the moment. It's a shame that he's missing these big key games. The good thing is it looks as if he'll be back in time for at least the semi-final. So he'll be an important player to have at Hampden. We've seen him contribute so much at Hampden before. But having guys like Luke McCowan who understand the geography of Scottish football and what is required in the game, he just calmed the game down. Alongside Hatate and Engels in the number 6 role, I thought they all calmed the game down individually, and they did well to get Celtic over the line, and they got their second goal, which was deserved, and it was all 3 subs that contributed to that goal.
There was also an injection of urgency when Luke McCowan came on in terms of a forward impetus, and I like that, and I like that as well, that the 3 guys that were involved in the second goal. But McCowan's cutback can't be underestimated. It's accurate, it's on the money. It's like, big man, go and finish that. And he certainly did.
It's a really good finish from Adamida.
Terrific finish, and and lots of people have been giving him stick. You were talking about Hatate was getting stick, but he has been the one who's come in for some stick recently from people. But as long as he continues to make that impact, Ryan, and take his chance when he gets it, if he comes on, scores a goal, if he starts, then score if he can, So, but
he did quite well to change the narrative, because there was people would have been saying, you spent X amount of money for this player and he's only getting 5 minutes at the end of a quarter final. He's flipped that on its head. He's came onto the park and scored the second goal. No, it's not the winner. But it's important because it kills the game as a contest. Celtic, you could feel the the deep breaths as soon as the second goal was scored. And Celtic started playing with a free-flowing style. After that, they should have got another one, maybe even 2 goals to add to the bargain. I know it was 5 minutes of added time, but there was chances there for Celtic to score more goals. And it's good that they started well, but they also finished well too. And that's because of those subs that came onto the park. Rodgers can trust these subs to come on and make a big difference. That happened last week against St Mirren, and it's happened this week against Hibs. That shows growth in the team.
They finish strong, Ryan. They're strong finishers, Celtic. They go right to the end, and that's personified by Dyson Maida up front, who's still chasing things down. And as you mentioned, Kuhn was still chasing things down before he was eventually taken off. But I was happy with Kuhn's performance today. I thought it was more like the Kuhn of old, wasn't it? Or the Kuhn of a few months ago.
Yeah, just confidence in taking on his man. Cadden was taken off midway through the first half with an injury.
A hamstring problem, Ryan.
That would have been down to Kuhn. Or Kuhn would have been one of the reasons, because he was stretching every time he was going to the trying to defend against Nicholas Kuhn. He's a nightmare to defend against, especially in that 1v1. Johnson wants to get the ball to him as quickly as possible in games, and when he does, and he's got that. A lot of teams will double team Nicholas Kuhn because of the dangers that he possesses. Yeah. They want 2 men to stop him, to sort of phase him out of the game. If you've got 1v1, you always think that Nicholas Kuhn and Jota, for that matter as well, you think that the 2 of them have got the advantage against the defenders. They want that 1v1 battle. Brendan Rodgers teams, the best Brendan Rodgers teams at Celtic, are when he's got 2 wingers that like to take on their man and get to the byline or take a shot or cut inside or whatever. They look dangerous today. Not everything came off for Jota, but I'm not too worried. As long as he's contributing goals, assists, let's get him to pre-season, get him a full pre-season training. He's going to be dynamic and dynamite next season. This for me is like a glorified mini pre-season for Jota from now until the end of the season. He might pick up a treble, but it's the real hard work will start in the summer, and I expect to see an even higher level from the player that they had the first time.
He nearly scored a cracking solo goal. At one point. I actually expected him to bury it. I was disappointed that he didn't actually bury it, but there you go. I'm reliably informed that it was a hamstring that Callum McGregor came off the park with. Hamstring injury of sorts, so we shall wait to see the diagnosis on that, to see if there's any news on that. I'm sure the manager will update us or keep us informed on that. The instant analysis is already on the website, and I think Ryan's player ratings will be heading up.
They're
on there already, yep. So I'll just put them both in the chat, Ryan, for everybody's delectation. There's the instant analysis, and then I'll get Ryan's player ratings. You can see if your player ratings, your own individual player ratings, match with young Ryan's here. There we go. Just put that in the group chat there. There we are. That's it. You can have a read at them at your leisure. When you go, Ryan?
I didn't think there was any 9 out of 10 performances. Bit of a spoiler. I didn't think there was any 9 out of 10 standouts. But I thought there was plenty of 8 out of 10s, which just shows a solid, a solid nucleus of the team that was present throughout, and it was their know-how. In fact, they've been in this position many times before, how to win games. But it was more like akin to a European game today.
Yeah.
With the attendance, the Hibs fans made it a big cup tie. They came in their thousands, made a lot of noise. I think that just suited Celtic. I think they like having a big pressure environment. This is when the Celtic team comes to the fore.
Yeah. We spoke about it beforehand, Ryan. They just have an uncanny knack of turning up in big games. And as I say, I thought that was a decent performance today. I was happy with what they said, because they came up against a team who, were resolute, they were dogged, and they were determined. And Hazel Finn coming in and saying she was real surprised with how few chances have made. They were restricted, weren't they, really? I've got to say, Celtic, as I say, I never felt... I know 1-0's a precarious lead, but I never ever felt that it was backs to the wall and that Celtic were ever going to concede. I always felt that they had another goal in them. So I say it arrived late, doesn't matter when it arrives. And cup football, Ryan, is all about being in that draw for the next round. And Celtic are in the draw alongside Aberdeen and Hearts. and we'll wait to see who joins them in the semi-final draw.
Yep, I think everybody will be watching keenly what happens tomorrow night between Livingston and St Johnstone. I believe the draw is right after that game.
Yeah, the draw is right after that game.
Celtic will find out who they'll be facing at Hampden, but the main thing is Celtic are going to Hampden once again.
Yes.
Another day out, hopefully another sunny day out at Hampden as awaiting Brendan Rodgers and his team. Hampden in the sun sounds pretty good to me, Tony. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it's getting to that stage, Ryan. You alluded to it at the start that Celtic are no strangers to Hampden. Bertie Auld said they used to use it as a training ground back in the day, which I always found very and highly amusing. But it's a bit like that for Celtic. They are, they're regular participants at Hampden, and here they've booked another Hampden performance, and we can all look forward to that.
Yep, absolutely. I think we've actually covered everything that there is about today's game, to be honest, apart from maybe another strong showing from Cameron Carter-Vickers and Austin Trusty at the back. Another clean sheet kept for Austin Trusty, dealt with his man better than he did at Easter Road. But Cameron Carter-Vickers, as I said in the player ratings, as people will see, copy and paste every game. That's what I say about him. He just his performances, his record, and his know-how speak for themselves in games. He is a colossus, and whenever he plays for Celtic, trophies will surely follow. That's just what it is. That's just what it's all about with Cameron Carter-Vickers.
Is that giving him his real name, Cameron Carter-Vickers 8? Stroke 9, well. Stroke 9, stroke 10. Delete as appropriate. Is that what I'm saying?
Yeah, pretty much.
But he starts on the Cameron Carter-Vickers 8, and it's a sliding scale, isn't it? In most games. Yeah, indeed. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Ryan. I shall let you boost and get yourself up the road. But Celtic 2, Hibs 0. Dijsselmeijer's 27th goal of the season and Adam Ida's 14th puts Celtic into their 82nd Scottish Cup semi-final. And Brendan Rodgers keeps his wonderful 100% Scottish Cup record intact. Played 20, won 20, Ryan. You can't ask for anything any fairer than that, can you?
And long may it continue.
And on that note, thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Really appreciate it. 520 odd people joining us, Ryan. Superb stuff. Glad you got involved. If we didn't read your comment out today, we'll try and read them out at some other point. But get involved, subscribe to the channel, and you'll see your comments. It's free to do that, and you'll see your comments coming up in the group chat as well. So take care, enjoy your night. I'm sure you will. Ryan, have a good night. Safe trip home, sir.
Cheers, guys. Thanks once again.